Greetings, royal queens and kings. Thank you so much for coming back by. Listen here. Shocking move. Wendy Williams, financial advisor, hires armed security, disturbing death threats. In this video, we delve into the complex financial situation of Wendy Williams, a prominent figure in the entertainment industry following a court ordered guardianship in 2022. Wendy's financial affairs have come under intense scrutiny, particularly after Wells Fargo flagged suspicious activity on her accounts. Despite the immense success of her former daytime talk show, The Wendy Williams Show, which brought her millions, ongoing legal battles and health challenges have significantly impacted her wealth. Join us as we explore the details of the financial struggles, the implications of the guardianship, and what the future may hold for this iconic. She's, first of all, she's an icon, she's a legend, and she is the moment. And we're going to talk about and a television personality, television gold. Listen here, if anybody knows me, listen, my avatar is Ms. Wendy Williams. And guess what? I have several of them because I don't want anybody to forget her. And guess what? This is one of my faves because it's like, what? What are we doing here? And then this is actually one of my faves as well. All right, so let's get up into it. So the first piece of information that we are going to share with you all, and this is no shade to the family, but we've got to get in here and we've got to dive in. So we're going to start with this article first, and this is actually with the Sun. I actually placed the link into the chat, so you guys can feel free to click on it and read it at your leisure. Under fire, Wendy Williams' guardian accused of robbing client in $30 million lawsuit while controlling troubled host finances. And this is produced by the Sun, the U.S. Sun. Jessica Finn, this was published 1803, February the 26th, 2024. All right, let's get into it. It says Wendy Williams' guardian has been accused of a scheme to rob a client in a $30 million lawsuit while controlling the troubled host finances. The U.S. Sun can exclusively reveal that Wendy's guardian, Sabrina Morrissey, her firm Morrissey & Morrissey LLP, and about 10 other attorneys were named as defendants in the lawsuit. Now, if you guys don't know, this is Sabrina Morrissey right here. Yep, that's her. That is her. That is absolutely her. It is. Yes, ma'am, it is. That is her. And everything here that we'll be discussing is speculation. We don't know anything to be true when it comes to our commentary. This is fair. This falls under the Fair Use Act, and we will be referencing some articles. Buck, get down. We will be referencing some articles as we are doing right now. Morrissey and other attorneys, honey, Would you mind retrieving Buck? He's over here like he's Buck needs to be bring him with you, honey. Come on, Buck, go in the room. Morrissey and other attorneys were accused in the suit of conspiring to perpetrate a baseless guardianship against an individual, Jose Vertigo, in New York, who had won $5.5 million in a personal injury claim. The plaintiff in the case, attorney Michael Flomhoft of the Flomhoft law firm PLLC, represented Vertigo after the sustained head and back injuries from a construction accident. The case was opened in November of 2022, and in August of 2023, the plaintiff filed discontinued the above entitled action without prejudice and without cause to either party as against the other, which means Flomenhaft is allowed to refile charges, alter the claim, or bring the case to another court, depending on the statute of limitations. Flomenhaft claimed that the trouble started around 2009 when a former associate of his, Herbert Rodriguez, Esquire at Shorts Goldstone Campsie and Cates LLP, SGCK, contacted his client. The court documents allege that Rodriguez misrepresented to Vertigo about Flomenhaft's handling of his case and told him and his wife, who desperately needed the award money, that his case could not be finalized unless Vertigo consented to an MHL Article 81 guardianship that Vertigo did not want or need. Okay, let's get into it. That's where Wendy's guardian, who was criticized by the star's family in a docuseries by Lifetime that aired this past weekend, allegedly became involved in the dispute. Rodriguez and his firm initially partnered and conspired with Sabrina Morrissey, Esquire of M&M, to impose the Vertigo and MHL mental hygiene law, Article 81 guardianship, the court documents state. So what this means to me, we're reading this article, and like I said, I placed the article in the chat if you guys want to go and look at it for yourself. If you can, please make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Let's go ahead and hashtag Free Wendy. Free Wendy. We're actually going to do that right now. Okay, and what it sounds like to me is this was allegedly, in my opinion, from speculation in my mind, that this was a money grab. This was, okay, getting a lump sum of money. Okay, so how do we control that? Well, we get in there and we fit ourselves in, and we become guardian, and we allegedly restrict the persons that this money goes to. We dictate when they get it, how they get it, and how much they get. Because at this point in time, it's my money. And you're going to listen to me because I'm in control. Because when you signed on the dotted line, you said that you was incoherent and you couldn't do the job that I'm doing right now. So you need to fall back and be thankful that I'm giving you something. In my mind, that's how this situation is going. Let's get into it. Rodriguez and his firm initially partnered and conspired. Okay, I read that. I need to read it again. Rodriguez and his firm initially partnered and conspired with Sabrina Morrissey, Esquire of M&M, to impose the Vertigo and MHL mental hygiene law, Article 81 guardianship, the court documents state. So I really want you guys to really get into that statement. Really get into that. Rodriguez and his firm initially partnered and conspired with Sabrina Morrissey, Esquire of M&M, to impose on Vertigo and MHL mental hygiene law, Article 81 guardianship, and this is the court document state. Under the guise of protecting and vindicating Vertigo, They jointly pursued a dual litigation strategy aimed at getting rid of Flomer Haft and allegedly reaping Morrissey's substantial court awarded fees as guardian counsel through litigation, maligning Flomenhaft legally and ethically. So now guess who gets an award? Morrissey and Morrissey. Well, why does she need an award? He already had counsel. You all wanted, well, allegedly you're saying in the documents that somebody wanted we'll just say the client. Somebody wanted the client to sign on some documents. This was something that he did not need and he did not want. Guardianship. He didn't need that. He could make sound decisions. He had a wife right there. And this is my thing. His wife should have been the first one. If it was going to be any guardianship, it should have been his wife. Let's go. I'm going to read this again. Under the guise of protecting and vindicating Vertigo. So under the guise of protecting, okay, we're to protect and vindicating. We're going to clear you up, Vertigo. They jointly pursued a dual litigation. Okay, let's come together. Then they got a strategy. And then they said, okay, this is our strategy. Let's go in. Let's go in. Allegedly. This is what I'm interpreting from it. Their goal was to, okay, let's partner up. Let's strong arm. Let's get rid of Flomenhart. Because when we read the article a little bit more, it says that Morrissey Sabrina would be reaping a substantial court award when we talk about money. Okay, it says the suit claims that Wendy's conservator became guardian of Vertigo on January 19th, 2010, and continued to October 7th of 2015. So a 5-year situation. The complaint also alleges that she was involved in litigation related to the conservatorship. Okay, so she was in a lawsuit. She was filed in a complaint in the courts. She was involved in litigation related to another conservatorship. Let's get into it. The suit goes on to claim that Morrissey and the firm SGCK were empowered by both the confidence that their fee applications would be judicially rubber stamped and the consistent judicial resistance to affording Vertigo an opportunity to demonstrate his capacity under the New York mental hygiene law. And thus the invalidity of the guardianship. Defendants have been untrammeled in their scheme. Clock it. When we saw the Lifetime documentary, when Alex, her niece, went into that refrigerator, girl, it was nothing in there. Where's her waters that she really like? Where's this? Where's that? I mean, you're over her finances and her living conditions and the people that are around her. Like, really, we're giving them the side eye. And then you got, I mean, like, you're the guardian, but you're not responsible in my eyes. From what I saw from that girl prancing Miss Wendy Williams around, oh, Miss Wendy Williams, you want to go to the Oscars? Miss Wendy Williams said, what's the Oscars? You know what? The plan was for Miss Wendy Williams to fall at the hands of the Black people. Clock it. The plan was for Miss Wendy Williams to fall flat to meet Jesus at the hands of the Black people, so then the white lady couldn't take no no credit for doing all that, right? Because she was nowhere around. When the cameras were rolling, let's talk about it 24/7. When the cameras were rolling, who was in there? Our brothers and sisters. Miss Wendy Williams was snapping off and doing this and doing that. It was a plan that somebody set up that had them to come to Miss Wendy Williams with the bull mask. Okay, let's get into that. The suit alleged that guardianship judges also played a role in the alleged scheme. Ongoing ex parte communications between judges and the guardianship part and guardian attorneys have also facilitated the scheme. Defendants have conspired to perpetrate a baseless guardianship over a ward named Jose Vertigo under the guise of protecting Vertigo's best interests, the lawsuit alleged. Okay, so you want to protect his best interest when he already had his wife there. He didn't need any assistance. He didn't need your guardianship. He didn't need any of that. So why did he have to have it? Because from what it looks like, once you become a guardian, then you're awarded. You're awarded. Like it doesn't make sense. And when it doesn't make sense, it feels like a scheme to me. All right. So it says, for more than a decade, defendants have imprisoned Vertigo in a humiliating and oppressive guardianship by manipulating and serially deceiving him, as well as New York Supreme Court and the appellate division. It continued. What have we been seeing? There was an article that said the judge had told Miss Wendy Williams, your career is over, this, that, and the third. Sweetheart, that's a lie. We don't believe it. Miss Wendy Williams is definitely that girl. We do, in my opinion, in my feelings, in my mind, and per a psychic, somebody was giving her a shake and adding a little some to it. Okay, so Miss Wendy Williams, don't take the shakes. Drink your bottle of water. How you doing? Okay, yes, and we prefer if Alex can deliver those bottles of water. Okay, let's get into it. So the complaint, which details over a decade of litigation related to the conservatorship, including filings pertaining to the guardianship of the ward and various other court actions on his supposed behalf, accused Wendy's conservator and other guardianship attorneys of falsely perpetrating a baseless guardianship to silence and legally incapacitate Vertigo from acting on his own behalf. What does that sound like? It sounds like the same play that they have done to Miss Wendy Williams. Sounds like the same recipe to me. Sounds like the same recipe to me. What y'all think? Let me know in the comments. All right. So the plaintiff alleged that the litigation, which in part drained Vertigo's settlement with excessive attorney fees, all stemmed from a $5,000 discrepancy in 2007. So it was a $5,000 discrepancy. So now you want to argue back and forth. Okay, let me go ahead and wipe your account out. You ain't about to enjoy none of that. I'm going to be awarded again. Allegedly, in my mind. Let's get into it. In the following years, Vertigo was under the control of various guardianship attorneys, including Wendy's current guardian, Morrissey. A slew of litigation was pursued in the time since Vertigo was placed under guardianship that the suit alleged ate up a massive amount of his personal injury award. Now, remember this. His personal injury award was $5.5 million. $5.5 million. Get into that. The lawsuit alleged under the banner of supposedly protecting Vertigo, using these sham litigations as a vehicle to amass extraordinary and fraudulently based attorney and guardian fees, plundering Vertigo's multi-million-dollar personal injury recovery and 731 in the process. Oh. The case estimated that after Vertigo's initial award, he had $2.47 million left after attorney's fees, case expenses, and discharge of liens. But in the following years, the defendants allegedly pursued litigation without their client's consent to the tune of at least another $1.1 million. It's given entitlement. It's given, okay, let me go ahead and get more money from the cash cow. We got our cash cow. Let's go in one more time. Let's go in one more time. Let's go get some more money, allegedly. Okay, so it says the claims were dismissed voluntarily before Morrissey or any of the other defendants filed an answer responding to the specific allegations. Morrissey was also contacted for comment in connection with this story. Let's get into it. Let's get into the unwanted conservatorship. The suit alleged that the plaintiffs thwarted for years Vertigo's rightful emancipation from his guardianship and that they strenuously sought to insulate Vertigo from discovering that the guardianship was being exploited for their own personal financial gain. Clock that. The case claims that Vertigo's daughter had tried to get her father out of the conservatorship in 2021. The case alleged that Vertigo's medical records confirmed his capacity for more than a decade. The steadfast refusal of the guardians and the court to arrange for a capacity hearing to determine of the necessity of the guardianship ultimately required Fatima Vertigo's daughter to file an Article 78 proceeding ordering this hearing, the filing stated. So the daughter says, what they're saying is not true. I know this man, my dad has been cool. He's been cognitive. He's been receptive. That's my dad to me. And so she took matters into her own hands and filed an Article 78. And so what this is a proceeding ordering this hearing to pretty much go against or say, hey, I have new evidence and we need to have a trial. We need to have a court date and bring both parties and let's bring the real evidence, allegedly, right? So in the suit, multiple doctors gave attentions to Vertigo's cognitive abilities and they said he was not deficient. So they say, oh no, he's not deficient. He needs this. So they pretty much signed off. And when you get documents from a doctor, you're going to consider that doctor over, your own opinions, right? Let's get into it. In the suit, multiple doctors gave attestations to Vertigo's cognitive abilities, and they said he was not deficient. One of the doctors wrote, he is not found to be incompetent to a degree that he needs a guardian from a neuropsychiatric point of view. So what he's saying, the doctor that reviewed him and does not find that he needs this guardianship, this is his sign of approval. Why hasn't he been released? Why hadn't he been released after a doctor's order, a doctor's words, a doctor's note, a doctor's letterhead with his words? More litigation by Wendy's conservator. Flomenhoff's complaint alleged that in 2016, Wendy's conservator pursued additional litigation against Flomenhoff, to which her ward entered an affidavit. Her client, Vertigo, allegedly wrote at the time, I do not support the lawsuit against Mr. Flomenhoff and his law firm. I got the Peachtree money and deposited it into my bank account. I gave Mr. Flomenhart permission to use the rest of the money how he saw fit to pay for my case expenses. I am angry that I am being used. Oh, Lord. So now the client is speaking up. The guardian is using me to sue Mr. Flomenhart without my permission, and it has and continues to cost me hundreds of thousands of dollars in attorney's fees. I understand that Mr. Flomenhart tried to get the case dismissed, but the attorney from the law firm for my previous guardian, Michael Weiner, swore that I have been insane since 2003, even though I have never met Mr. Weiner. Don't this sound like the same thing that Wendy Williams was saying? Don't this sound so familiar? Don't it just sound so familiar? Listen here, we're going to take a quick commercial break and we'll be right back.
In November, a black Porsche drove in my driveway to do a K-turn. It slowed down. It just so happens I was home. And I was at a particular window where I could see. It was a woman who was with a burgeoning belly. And I could see that because the way our house is pitched, it's on a little bit of a hill. And this person, her, was taking pictures of our home. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm saying this. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Then she backs out. She reverses the car to go back to where she came from. At that point, I can't believe what my life is about to turn into. I am like screaming like a raving lunatic. And what would you do? What would you do? There was nobody for me to call for a second opinion. There was nobody to call. My
All right, y'all. So let's get into it. Let's go ahead and bring the article up. All right, so we'll finish reading, and thank you all for staying tuned to the show. I understand that Mr. Rodriguez and his current law firm also supported that lie. I am a functioning, intelligent, and independent person employed by different companies in different jobs. I am certainly not insane. His statement concluded. Flomenhart's latest lawsuit also accused Morrissey and the other defendants of racketeering. As set forth in the preceding paragraphs, defendants and each of them have engaged in and contributed to a chronic pattern of collusion and conduct entailing both deceit and attempted deceit upon plaintiffs, Vertigo, and the guardians themselves. By reason of the foregoing, plaintiffs have been substantially harmed by sustaining attorney's fees and expenses, massive loss of professional time, reputational harm, and delay in receiving appointed attorney's fees and investment loss and interest. The suit also claims the defendants violated civil rights law. In violation of Civil Rights Law 70, these defendants prosecuted each other. Hold on. These defendants persecuted each of the matters in the consolidation purportedly on Vertigo's behalf without Vertigo's authorization. When he possessed capacity and the right to be free of guardianship control and thus entitled to make his own litigation decisions. The total sum of punitive damages being sought from all of the defendants was $30 million. Wendy's guardianship. As the U.S. Sun first exclusively reported in early 2022, Wendy's bank, Wells Fargo, locked the star out of her accounts and filed a petition to hold a guardianship hearing for her. Wendy's attorney at the time asserted that Wells Fargo was in possession of several millions of dollars worth of funds belonging to the ailing host. In the documents, Wendy's lawyer said that the star's former financial advisor told the bank that Wendy was of unsound mind, while Wells Fargo was denying her access to her bank accounts and statements. Wells Fargo then justified its decision to keep Wendy's accounts frozen by reinforcing its authority under various client agreement to pause or reject instructions for proposed transaction pending judicial or administrative remedies should they suspect financial exploitation, dementia, or undue influence. Over the next several months, Wendy was placed in a court-appointed financial conservatorship under attorney Sabrina Morrissey, which the U.S. Sun previously revealed most conservatorship cases in New York State are filed under seal. So, y'all, this really breaks my heart, and I really want us to pay attention and support Miss Wendy. That's why we have Free Wendy. Hello, Miss Ariel Summers says, I feel bad for Wendy. If Kelvin Jr. hadn't spent that $100K for that yacht that flagged her account. Well, it wasn't just that. Remember, there was a woman impersonating to be Miss Wendy Williams. Little Kevin, he had introduced Miss Wendy Williams to this woman, and come to find out this is the same woman that tried to impersonate her, and that's what flagged off the cancellation of her account. Well, listen here, you all. Oh, geez. This was an article that I wanted to bring to you all. I wanted to make it quick, fast, and in a hurry, but thoughtful. And I want you guys to continue to hashtag Free Wendy. We're going to come back with some more shows on this evening, but that's all I have for you right now. I'll drop you off in Queen City. Until next time. And once again, thank you all so much for coming by the broadcast, the replay. If you are replaying this video as well, it's live broadcast. Thank you so much. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and tell somebody that we were live. So long.